So our next guest is Tanisha Stewart, and she is an author of novels as well. She has a series called The Quiet Ones, but she's also a psychologist. She studied psychology. She has a master's in psychology. She's a college professor. So we want to welcome Tanisha to Black Authors Matter TV.
And she's from Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Hi, how are you doing? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah. Now, how do you use psychology in your books, or are your books a complete departure from what you do day to day? Like, are they psychological thrillers? Whenever I see something that's a psychological thriller, I always think it's going to mess with my mind, and so I usually try to avoid them because I don't want something in my head, and then I'm gonna have nightmares, or So anyway, do you use psychology in your work, or do you do something that's a complete departure?
Most definitely. So I had two majors in college. It was psychology and sociology, and I like to use both of those when I'm writing my books just to make them more authentic, et cetera, et cetera. And I feel like almost every author, regardless of the genre that they write in, they probably are using some elements of both of those, because psychology is just about people and why they are the way they are, why they think the way they think, et cetera, et cetera. So I definitely draw upon that heavily when I'm writing these psychological thrillers.
Well, I think that having a psychology background is an amazing tool for
Oh yeah.
developing your characters. You really know how to use the Johari window and show what they want people to see and what they're really hiding.
Absolutely. And a lot of reviewers who they read my books, they often say like, oh, I could see this person in myself, or I can see this in somebody I know, et cetera, et cetera. And that's the reason why, because it's so ingrained in who we are as people, and how we act and react to given situations.
Yeah, well, there is each of us, the person that is inside, so to speak, and the person that we let people see.
Right.
Absolutely. And you'll see that a lot with this Quiet One series. So it's about a girl who is bullied by her peers heavily, and until she gets to the point where she snaps. So you ever heard that phrase like, watch out for the quiet ones, you never know when they might snap? That's basically the backdrop to this whole series, and then what happens after she snaps, essentially.
That reminds me of the girl who got in trouble because
Mm.
she was so tired of being bullied on the school bus that one day she took a gun on the school bus, and
Oh,
when she got bullied, she didn't shoot anybody, but she was just holding the gun at people, basically telling them to leave her alone because she was tired of being bullied. And
mm,
she got in so much trouble. I mean, which she should have because she had a gun. But at
mm,
the same time, I felt so bad for her because she was brought to that point because she was
mm.
bullied so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a lot of times people don't understand the implications of bullying. And like, people might think it's just all in fun, or everybody does it, et cetera, until they're the brunt of the joke. Or they're the one enduring it. And then it's coming from all sides. So like, then once you're put in that situation, then you feel like, okay, what am I supposed to do now? So
Right,
sometimes the reactions can be extreme, like what you just described, or
right.
even worse.
So the Quiet Ones, how many books are in the series?
There's 6 books in the series, and they're all like shorter reads, so they're like 20-30,000 words each. And each book like gets deeper and deeper into all the characters, and each one has like more twists and turns, and you just delve into different concepts associated with revenge, and what happens when you get revenge, how does revenge backfire, et cetera, et cetera. So it's basically like a revenge series and all the things that happen as a result of that.
So these same characters continue in all of the books, or do
Well, there's
you?
new characters that are added like with each one, and you delve deeper into each one as you keep going. But the main character, Shatina, she is in all books.
Okay. Okay. Now, besides you being a psychologist, what made you come up with this? What made you sit down and say, I'm going to write a series? Or did you just start with the first book and then decide to keep it going? You
Well,
know,
actually, okay, so there's a readers group that I'm part of. It's called ICU Reading and Chatting. Ebony Evans. She's like the founder of the group, and it's like a book club slash readers group. And she does these challenges on Fridays called Freestyle Friday. And she gives like the authors like a prompt with like pictures, and she says, "All right, just go and write something." And I always wanted to write a psychological thriller, but then when I was chosen for that Freestyle Friday, the words just started flowing, and I wrote the first book. And then after the first book, people were like, "Oh, there needs to be a part two. I want to see what happens next. I don't feel like her story is over." And then once they started saying that, like the ideas started flowing. So I was like, all right, let's just make it a series. And then it just became a series from there.
I love that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all
the readers
roll with it
can.
and made it into something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the readers can egg you on.
Mhm. I was like, no, I was done with this, but they're like, no, we need more. I was like, okay, all right.
Yeah, that's they really, the testament to good character development is when the readers think your characters, or they look at your characters as being real people.
Oh yeah.
So that's what happened to me with the one novel. I said, this is it took me 5 years to write it. I said, this is my one work of fiction, because I'm really more of a nonfiction writer now, children's books too. But I said, this is my one work of fiction. And when it was done, it was, this is it. And then all the readers wanted to know what happened to Lloyd, which is the main character. He's not real.
I was able to make my very first book was a book called Cheating in the Next Room. And the one character who I thought everybody was going to hate was the one that everybody kept asking about. What happened to her? What did she wind up doing? What happened? So I wound up making an entire series based on that character, and I gave her growth.
That's how it goes though. That's really how it goes. The one character or the one story that you feel like nobody's gonna like. You're like, no, we need more of this. You're like, I thought you would like this one, but you like this one instead. So all right, I'll just go where y'all want me to go.
I don't know. I think the likable character is too boring for readers. They like the unlikable character because they want to see what happens next.
Absolutely.
That's true. Although my character like had he evolved. He had a coming of age at 45. so he had a transformation during the story. So that's what made people want to know about him. And then I killed off the really bad person, and then the second to the worst went to prison. So so I had something happen to them that they got their comeuppance. But Lloyd, people wanted to know and I did leave it kind of an open-ended, but I wasn't planning to do a sequel. I just, some books end with like, not a cliffhanger, but like open-ended. And so I wanted it to be like that. And then that people saw that as, okay, I want to know what happens after that. So you never know. So The Quiet One, now, is this your only series?
Oh no, I have like
so.
a whole lot of series.
Books. That's what I thought. Because
I think it's up to like almost 60 books now, where I have like a bunch of different series. I have standalones. I have all of the above.
Okay, because when you came up to my attention, I forgot how, but I said we need to get her on the show, and that was when did I do this originally? I don't see the date, but I originally printed this out. But I printed out because I didn't want to forget. It was a page about you that I printed out, and I said, I need to get her on the show. And so I knew you had multiple books, but are they all? What's your writing style? What?
So I have a bunch of different genres that I write in. So I have 4 different genres that are like primary. I have the thrillers, I have Christian fiction and nonfiction, I have young adult, I have romance. And I just started diversifying it where I have like different pen names where I write. But before I did that, I put all my genres underneath my name, which is Tanisha Stewart. So if you look at my name now, you'll still see a lot of those other genres in there. So you'll see like some of my Christian fiction series, some of my young adult series, romance series, a little bit of everything. And then the thrillers are all the most recent books.
Well, you answered my question, because I was just going to ask if you write all of those different genres under the same name. But
yeah, I used to, but I learned, I kind of knew this in the beginning, but I just didn't take it as seriously as I probably should have, because they always say that if you're going to write like different genres that are truly different from each other, for algorithmic purposes, it's best to like use a different pen name, just so Amazon doesn't get like confused where like you put out a thriller this month and then like a contemporary romance next month. They're like, I don't know where to send your readers. So so it is best to diversify.
Alienate if you're writing children's books, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
and then you write an adult fiction book. You don't want to confuse those readers, those parents who are buying those children's books for their kids.
Absolutely, because they'll be like, oh, I thought she wrote children's books, and then some people will like get upset about it, and they'll be like, no, I was looking for children's books, and you got me reading all this extra stuff. And
yeah, well, there's some food for thought. I don't think I'm where I need a pen name yet, and I don't know what it would be if I would pick one, but I don't know. But I hadn't thought, that's that AI that finds. Now they're saying that AI is creating fake interviews with influencers, and the influencers will create a fake interview with somebody and put it on TikTok.
It's possible. I mean, I seen them where they did a song with like a famous artist and it actually sounded like the artist. So I'm like, hey, anything's possible. If you can mimic their voice, you got them basically.
Yeah, I guess people, I don't know where this AI is going, but we'll find out. We're learning where it's going, and it seems like a lot of people are using it as a shortcut to.
They are using it as a shortcut. There was a lady just yesterday who posted on her page that she was looking for an editor, and a couple of people tagged people. Somebody tagged me. Somebody tagged a couple of the authors, and then lo and behold, somebody comes along and says, "Chat GPT." And she said, no, that's nice, but I need a human touch for this.
Right. Now to like springboard off of that,
human touch.
Say that again.
I said Chat GPT is not going to give you that human touch.
No, it won't. But I will say that the Chat GPT and like the other, I've just learned about all these other ones that are like been around, I guess. They can be the assistant that you always wish you had.
I agree.
Like, so they can help you with like certain things where like, let's say you want to use it for email list or something, where you want to write like blog posts or something like that. You could just give it like the back or the bones of what you want to write, and then just have it write it for you, and then you just revise it. So it can help you with certain things like outlining, all of that, but I just wouldn't use it to replace what you're supposed to be doing. Exactly. It's like supposed to be a supplement, not a replacement.
Exactly.
AI first showed up with Google, with Gmail, completing your sentences.
Yep.
Because it does do that. Now it's helpful sometimes just to cut down on keystrokes. And they pretty much take what you normally would say. They just add on the additional 3-4 words. And then all you have to do is tab. And
see, what I like Chat GPT because sometimes I just need to know where to start. And if I'm racking my brain and I don't know where to start, I might tell Chat GPT to draft an email for me.
Absolutely.
And then I'll look at him like, I don't sound like that.
Right. Like, I'm gonna take what you did and I'm just gonna revise this a little bit and put it in my own words. But thank you though.
One time, true story, it was so funny to me. I told Chat GPT to write a script for me. And I said, make it sound hip hop. And Chat GPT was like, yo, fam. I'm like, you know what? People are gonna know that this is not me.
Right.
When have you ever heard me say yo, fam?
Right. It's hilarious.
I haven't ventured off into that yet. I hear about it, and I did go on to sign up. I said, okay, let me check this out. Then they wanted me to pay. I don't want to pay. So then
I use the free version.
Left it alone. Well, I don't know. Where's the free version? Let me.
Chat GPT is the free version.
I thought I went to it, and it wanted me to pay.
I don't know. I've never gotten charged on ChatGPT.
Okay, well, let me go again.
There's one called Ask Jasper. Now that one is a paid one.
No, it wasn't Jasper. I thought it was ChatGPT. That's what I typed in because that's the one I hear about. And when I went on there to create an account,
okay, paid version. I've only used the free one.
Okay.
Yeah, they have different ones. Yeah, they have like ChatGPT 4 and like some other versions, but one of them is paid, the other one's free. I use the free one.
Okay, you know what? The paid one is probably the one that they put in the Google search thing to come up first because they're paying for ads. So they need to pay for the ads. So I need to put free. That's what I'll do. I'll type I'll type in chat GPT free. So it's interesting about, so how many pen names do you have currently?
I have 3 currently. So I have Tanisha Stewart, which is me. I have Niche Santiago, which is my I'm also a Christian artist, so I do rap and spoken word. So I have that, and I have my Christian fiction and nonfiction books underneath that one. And then I have Daisy Savage for my urban romance type urban books. And I have some more that I'm working on in the future.
Okay, so how did you decide these names?
Well, the Niche Santiago, that was my rap name, so I just used that for the pen name. And then the Daisy Savage, I just kind of made that one up because I thought it was cool. So
okay. But you know, I have heard from Christian fiction authors especially, more so than any other genre, that where the author writes in that genre and other genres too.
Oh yeah.
Where that creates a problem because
oh yeah, it definitely can.
the people are reading, like if they write urban or you know erotica, then one of their Christian fiction readers picks it up and they're upset.
That is the most frustrating thing. This is the reason why I didn't get into Christian fiction, because I'm a Christian. I wanted to write about Christians in relationships, but I didn't want to be pigeonholed because there are people who have very strong beliefs about Christian fiction. The character cannot cuss. The character cannot get upset. The character this. And I'm like, you know what?
Like, wait, what world do you live in?
They can barely have sex, even if they're married.
There's a lot of controversy. I mean, I can speak to that definitely. Like, I've had books where I've written where people be like, "I thought you was a Christian." I'm like, I am. I am.
Question my grandmother, because my grandmother, God rest her soul, before she died, she was a huge New Orleans Saints fan. Football was her thing. And somebody asked her, "You like football? But I thought you were a Christian. When are Christians able to watch football?"
Wait, I never heard that one. Is it because it's competitive? I know there are some groups who are like very, very, what's the word? Into asceticism, where they're like extreme.
Right. And that's why I'm saying that's the most frustrating thing to me about Christian fiction. And that was the reason why I never wrote Christian fiction. Now you will see that the characters in my books, I have Christians in my books, and sometimes they have messages, but I'm never going to call myself a Christian author because I just don't want to be put into that box. I want
but I mean, as long as you're still writing what you feel like you're supposed to be writing, hey, like I wouldn't let anybody stifle your gift though. If you feel like you have a gift in that area and you feel like God is giving you something.
Oh, absolutely. That's the reason why I still put messages in my books. I still make sure that the characters in my books are Christians. I just don't call myself a Christian author because
I got you.
I don't want people to pigeonhole the stories that I'm writing.
Yeah, right. It's real and confining.
It is in a lot of respects. It definitely is.
People told me my book, because my book has my novel has it's a mystery, but it has a biblical tie-in. So it's called the Genesis Files. That was my first one. So the second one is called.
I like that title.
I like these titles y'all coming up with.
The sequel is called Exodus from Treachery. So
hold on, I'm gonna write these down.
Exodus should be out. It's gonna be out before the festival. I'm tying it up now, and it's gonna be going to my editor. I'm getting the book cover. I'm getting the book cover for the Genesis Files redone, so they can be complementary. Because the time frame between my first book and the sequel is 10 years, but in the book only 5 years have passed. So I make it closer in time, and but there's a biblical tie-in. So one reviewer said, they gave me a 2 or 3.
Oh Lord.
They said that the author, this is how they worded it, the author can't figure out whether or not she wants to write a book about the Bible, Christians, or a mystery or a thriller. No, I didn't need to figure it out. First of all, it's my book. I wrote it the way I wanted to write it.
Right.
And if you don't like it, too bad. This is what I want to write about. And the biblical tie-in is real. And most of the things that happen in my book are based on actual news stories because my main character is a journalist. So I did a departure in the sequel. It's more of a what if. I took a situation and did what if, and then took it, made the characters make the story happen. So, but people will tell you about, what you should, they put everything, it's like everything has to be a formula or cookie cutter. And that's not true. The industry is kind of like that.
Right. Yeah. One thing to say to that is like, if you see that most of the people who review the book kind of got what you were trying to give, then I think you're in a good place. But if you feel like if all the reviews are saying something's off, then we might have to be like, I maybe have to look back at this book. But if most people like seem like they understood what you were trying to say, then I think you're good. And I wrote down the titles of your books, and yours was Cheating in the Next Room, right?
Oh, I have a few, but that was my very first
book.
Okay, I wrote it down just so I can go and look it up.
Okay,
well, look for Rhonda M. Lawson. I always use my middle initial.
Okay, let me write that.
I love them. How many books do you have? Because you've written so many.
You had 60 or something like that?
I think it's like, if it's not 60, it's almost 60, somewhere around 60.
So how do you find your time to write?
For me, it's random because I try to be like, they say like write 2,000 words every day. Like I've tried that so many times, but it just simply never happens. My writing doesn't come to me until like the day before the deadline, usually. So it's like, oh, this is due tomorrow. All right, now the story wants to come to me. And then I'm like raking my hands trying to get this story written, all stressed out and stuff. And then it finally comes out. Like, oh, now you want to talk to me. I've been asking for you to talk to me this whole time. And now you got something to say.
I remember I had a deadline of December 31st. So on New Year's Eve, instead of partying and drinking champagne, I was finishing a book.
Terrible. That's how it goes. That is how it be going.
Aren't you Carl Weber?
Right.
Yeah, my deadlines are self-imposed because I self-published so far.
This is the reason why I am now self. I'm like, I can't adhere to these deadlines.
Right. Well, I be self-publishing too, but I put it on pre-order, and that's what gets me. Because with pre-order, you gotta have it by a certain day and time. So it's like, why did I do this?
See, I'm not brave enough to do that yet. I don't put mine out there for pre-order because then I'm really stuck like Chuck. So what I do when it's at when it's almost done, like it's been edited, I'm just waiting to pull it all together, get the PDF uploaded to check it. That's when I put it out there. I don't.
That's the smart way to do it. I need to listen to that, but I'd be like, I just get so excited about the story. I'd be like, all right, I just put it on pre-order. It's gonna flow. And then 4 days before the deadline, I still ain't got nothing written.
So how does the pre-ordering thing, does that work well for you in terms of your sales? I've never tried it. So
I've tried it and it works for some books and not for others. Like I find it works best for series or books that are like heavily anticipated. So if people like really like your cover or they really like whatever you said about the story so far, they'll do the pre-orders. Or if it's a series where like they love book 1, you'll find that a lot of readers will start to pre-order book 2 and book 3, and some will just go ahead and order the whole thing. So it could definitely be a good thing for an author to like to do pre-orders when they have a series.
Okay, but that deadline, now can you change the release date?
You can, but the caveat to that is it makes the readers mad, and also you can only do it twice within a year. So like if you do it twice within that year, they won't let you put any more books on pre-order for the whole rest of the year, and also you they will cancel the rest. I think they like cancel the rest of your pre-orders or something like that. So it's like there's a penalty for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
So that adds to the pressure. You're like, okay, I really have to get this done now.
So you self-publish all of your books?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot of
Well,
books.
actually, I have one that I was part of there was a publisher who reached out to myself as well as 6 other authors, and it's called the 7 Deadly Sins series. So the book that I have underneath that is underneath the publisher, but all the rest of my books are self-published.
Oh, okay. And how long have you, are you writing full time?
Well, I have a full-time income from writing, but I don't write full-time as far as like my job. I have a whole bunch of jobs.
Okay.
So, you have a day job and a couple of other side hustles.
Oh yeah. So I teach psychology, as you already know, and then I also do I do editing and formatting. I do a bunch of literary entrepreneurial type stuff.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Well, that's great though. You most of the time people that you hear about that have that many titles, they have some self-published, but they're with a publishing house. It's a combination. But that's a lot of work for
it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So do you have a particular artist that you use for your covers, or for different ones, and you use the same one, or you have different ones depending on the type of covers?
So all of my Christian books, I have Aisha Bree, who's IB Designs. I have her doing those, and then all my thrillers, I have Carrie Bledsoe. She's not on Facebook, but I just love how she does thriller covers, so I use her for all of those. And those are the 2 main ones. I also used Tyora Moody in the past for Christian fiction.
Okay, so, I know her.
I haven't worked with that many people, but the people I have worked with have been excellent.
Okay, that's wonderful. Well, we want to make sure people know how to reach you on all your books.
I was enjoying this interview. I'm a little upset.
Who said that?
Me. I'm like, I was enjoying the interview and it went by so fast.
It did. It kind of flew by.
I thought I'm looking at the comments. I thought somebody said that they were upset.
Oh, well, we did put your link in the chat.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so y'all go out there. You know what I always say, go out there and order these books. And leave some reviews. Let's give Miss Tanisha the love and the flowers that she deserves.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's all good. You know, author to author, I know how it is.
Oh yeah, definitely. Put them rated. Even if you don't leave me a review, leave a rating. Just a rating.
I want a rating and a review. I want
rate and do it all.
I want all the things.
All of it. But if it's only a number, let it be 5.
Right. There you go. There you go.
All right, Tanisha, thank you so much for being a guest on Black Authors Matter TV. And
thank you guys.
I'm amazed at all the books you've written and self-published. You know, all these authors that have dozens of titles, you know, that gives me a goal. To strive for. So have a great evening, and people can find you online and on social media under Tanisha Stewart for the most part.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Well, you have a great evening, and thank you again.
You too. Thank you both.
Keep doing what you're doing. Bye.
Goodbye.